been to hell and back. It's not been nice.
In the grip of a second wave of the deadly pandemic.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
In a week when deaths in the UK from COVID-19 pass 50,000.
I think this is probably one of the busiest winters I've ever experienced in the NHS.
We report from the NHS Frontline. They're doing this because their patient is critical. Secretions are building up inside his chest and it needs to be drained. His body can't function normally because he's sedated and being kept alive by a ventilator. This is now standard respiratory care on a COVID-19 critical care unit. Tom has been on this unit for 3 weeks. He spent his 51st birthday here, alone.
I was absolutely terrified. You know, I'm in here, away from my family, and as much as the people are great, it's hard work. It genuinely is hard work to get through it. So, but yeah, just stay strong. I've sort of been positive, and hopefully I will get out of here.
Tom's wife is a nurse. She realised his cough was more than a normal cold. Her action might have saved Tom's life.
I've been to hell and back. It's not been nice. It's a hard road, and it's a slow recovery. It's so evil, this thing. It doesn't care who you are. It takes you down, and it really, you struggle to beat it. And like I say, I've witnessed people go, you know, and not make it. You know, and that's a real shocker.
You've seen people die on this ward?
I've seen 2 people die in this ward while I've been on it. So, yeah, that's just harsh, you know. It's really harsh because it really gives you a reality shock of just how serious this is.
The intensive care unit at University Hospital Coventry has some of the sickest patients in the region. It's bracing itself for more as it faces a perfect winter storm. Non-COVID emergencies are spiking at the same time as COVID admissions. Hundreds of staff are off sick. Row after row, bed after bed, with some of the sickest patients in the region. There are men and women, young and old, black and white. Most are sedated and intubated.
So we've got 59 patients in the hospital that are confirmed COVID positive.
Inside the control room, Professor Kiran Patel is being briefed.
Just to be clear, so we're maintaining cancer care?
Yes.
Yep.
This is the beating heart of this hospital, where critical decisions are made. The hospital is at 98% capacity already, but Professor Patel is determined to keep all services going. It's putting the hospital under great strain.
I think this is probably one of the busiest winters I've ever experienced in the NHS. We take stock of how much elective care we can deliver, hour by hour, day by day, and we plan for the next day. And we will continue to do that for as long as it takes. And of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but there may come a point when the acute pressures are so immense that we do have to think about standing down elective care, but I'm hoping that we will not have to do that.
We're looking at a long, hard, difficult winter, especially for the staff on the front line.
Yes, I think wave 1 was a sprint. We knew where the finish line was and we knew where the top of the hill was. Wave 2 is a bit like running a marathon. We don't know what the terrain is like and we don't know for how long this is going to go on. We can't really see where we're going in terms of the end point in the finish line. So it is going to be a long haul and we have to look after our staff and our patients.
And if you're feeling too out of breath, stop, catch your breath.
One way to make space is by quickly discharging patients who are fit to return home.
That's it.
Paul came into hospital with backache 2 weeks ago, but he has COVID-19. He lives alone and his physio team want to make sure he's strong enough to look after himself.
A bit strenuous at first, but Obviously I'm out of breath now doing that, but that's only one flight, isn't it? When I get home, I might have to do that 3 or 4 times a day to get to the toilet.
Okay.
You know, that's the trouble.
And that was typical of a COVID patient, the struggle up a short flight of stairs.
Yeah. They generally struggle with small tasks because of shortness of breath and feeling generally weak because of the infection.
In the bed across from Paul is David. He found out he was COVID positive after taking a test.
Tell you what, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. No way. No way. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Horrible. Horrible. You can fear the worst, can't you? You know, no matter how brave you are, you know what I mean? If you care for life, you care about yourself, don't you? But the staff have been absolutely excellent.
Did you fear the worst?
Oh, I did. Of course you do. It runs through your mind. You think, well, if I get complications, if it could get worse, of course you do. But everybody knows that. Anything can happen.
You thought you were going to die?
Well, no, I didn't think that, but I realised that, you know, the odds are stacked against, and they can be stacked. And I realised that people are far, far worse than me. Trust me, I know that. Very, very aware of that. But I'm glad I'm lucky. I've been lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. You know? And I think that's the best way of describing it.
Paul and David are both being looked after by Dr. Ali.
Dr. Ali thinks I'll be discharged today now.
Dr. Ali led his team through the first wave and is confident that they will cope this time too. He says valuable experience has been gained, but he is still worried about the timing of this wave with the seasonal pressures.
The winter is right here, and the pressure on the services have never gone away winter or summertime. But the numbers have started to increase quite a lot for other illness-related admissions. The patients that we are seeing are probably now more of a younger group, relatively younger. Yes, we are still seeing frail elderly. Yes, we are seeing people who are coming in for other treatments and having incidentally being found out to have COVID. But the main difference is our know-how around the illness, because this was a completely new illness. We knew nothing about it before. So we now know a bit more. We know that there are certain therapies that work.
More than 50,000 people have died during this pandemic. Dr. Chris Basford worked through the first wave. He told me much has changed.
It does feel different for a number of reasons. The patients that we're getting in now, we feel partly more confident in their management. We learned a lot from that first wave. We learned some of the treatments that help. We know that steroids help.
But even with all the advancements, the pain of losing a patient never diminishes.
It's never easy. Sometimes it is difficult. What I can say is that this is a team that knows what they're doing, and if you have a patient that you have cared for to the best of your abilities, and you know that you've done everything right, and they still didn't make it out of the intensive care unit alive, then that sometimes is something that you have to accept, and you have to try and leave at work and not take home with you.
It's difficult.
It is. It certainly can be, and some patients are more troubling. So, for example, for a lot of the nursing team, you have a young woman come in, a young woman who's got young kids, and that is exactly what the cohort that most of my nursing team are in. That's really hard, and the team will struggle with that. Having said that, it's also hard when you've got someone who's got grown-up kids, and you know that it could be your mum and dad who's that sick as well. So there are times that it can be hard, but that emotional something about that particular patient makes it very hard to leave that at work.
The staff will do everything they can through another wave and through one of the toughest winters the NHS has faced. But they know more patients will die. At the start of filming, they had lost 6. By the time we finished a few hours later, it was 7. Ashish Joshi, Sky News, Coventry.